With Mario Party Superstars celebrating its 1-year anniversary, I thought it deserved a celebration for being the Mario Party that brought new life into the series by giving us 5 classic boards and 100 amazing minigames from parties past. However, with all the hours that I've spent playing this game, I always just felt like that even with all the incredible minigames in this package, that there was still some missing from the classic games. There are so many minigames that I love to play, but for some reason are just never talked about when discussing which are the best minigames in the series. So today I will be counting down my favorite minigames that were criminally left out of Mario Party Superstars. This is my list of the top 10 underrated Mario Party minigames. One type of minigame that I've always just seemed to love in Mario Party is the button mashing minigames. I know, they don't really have much variety to them, but I really just love testing my button mashing speed and just seeing how many presses that I can do in a short amount of time. So I'm glad that they included those in Superstars, but one other type of minigame that they left out was ones that test your reflexes, and I think Slapdown from Mario Party 3 utilizes that perfectly. This is truly a game that will keep you on your toes. There's a giant flower in the middle, and you'll see a bunch of smaller symbols rotate around it. And as soon as you see a flower that matches the one in the middle pop up, slap your hand down, and the fastest to do it wins. But don't do it too soon or you're out. Sure, it's a very quick minigame, but it still is really intense for everyone involved, and you really never know who's gonna win. Like, I've seen people just get super lucky with the flower and get it pretty much as soon as it pops up, which is super frustrating, but that's what makes it so cool in my opinion. Like, it's a game that might seem very hard at first, but you can really practice this one and get really good at training your reflexes. And trust me, it feels so sweet when your hand is the first to come down and you get all the coins from that battle game. If there's one thing that I can say about Mario Party 4, is that it has an amazing collection of minigames. Book Squirm, Dungeon Duos, Reverse-A-Bomb, and Goal are all originally from this game, which means it makes sense that there's some other good minigames that just get hidden behind all of those. One of those, in my opinion, is Toad's Quick Draw. Honestly, now that I think about it, this game kind of feels like a Mushroom Mix-Up, but with its own twist to it. Toad holds up a colored flag, and you have to quickly identify which balloon matches that color and shoot it before anyone else. When you shoot it, you get a point, and first person to 3 points wins. It's another type of game that does rely a lot on reflexes, but you also gotta be quick with your pointer. If you can move your cursor over to the balloon and shoot it quickly, you'll be good at this game. Every round consists of quick button pressing, close misses, and a whole bunch of screaming. Trust me, this one is more fun than it sounds. Is it just me, or is Mario Party Superstars severely lacking in dual minigames? Like seriously, 5 of these is barely enough to spice things up. Well, let's fix that by putting Warp Pipe Dreams from Mario Party 7 on this list. For this dual minigame, you and your opponent start at opposite ends of the map and you have to jump into warp pipes and try to make your way to the center first. Yes, I know a lot of you are thinking that this sounds pretty luck-based, and for some of it, it is, but there's also a lot of concentration because you really do have to memorize which path you've already gone down and make sure that you don't go that way again. Sometimes you can get really lucky and get pretty much a straight path all the way to the green, but sometimes you are required to backtrack and go along the same path, and for that, I think it's pretty interesting. You never really know who's gonna take the victory when this minigame shows up. So, this next one is a pretty simple concept, but I always have a ton of fun playing Circuit Maximus for Mario Party 6. This is a game where you're put into an octagon type of obstacle course and you have to run through each section trying to avoid all of the electrical balls that stand in your way. Like, trying to go quickly through this is really intense. These guys are placed in such a certain way that makes it guaranteed that you will get hit at some point. I've even seen situations where people were just running into the electricity like over and over again, unable to escape and move on. But that's why it's so satisfying to make it to the end first. It might be simple, but it's super engaging and it really makes you want to win this game, and that's why I like it so much. Moving on, we have another obstacle course platforming type of minigame, Fun Run from Mario Party 7. Trust me, this name really says it all. There's a ton of fun stuff for this obstacle course. It starts out simple with you having to just run and dodge a couple of spinies put in your way, but then you make your way outside and it gets more complicated as you're trying to jump over a whole bunch of traps in the floor, watch out for walls that are trying to shove you off the course, all while racing to try to get to the finish line first. I guess you could say this one is pretty similar to the minigame that we just talked about. It's super engaging, super fun, and really makes you want to win. You know that you're engaged with this minigame because every time you get tripped up by something or get shoved off the course, you're always screaming at Lakitu to put you back on. I'm really surprised that this minigame does not get more recognition, as it really is one of the best adventure minigames that I've ever played, and I feel like it is the perfect length for anyone to enjoy. And trust me guys, this is just the beginning for these underrated gems in Mario Party. So, you know that feeling when you're trying to move a couch, but you just can't seem to angle it the right way to get it through the door or any narrow section? Well, Battery Ram from Mario Party 7 takes that to a whole nother level. An amazing 2v2 minigame where you and your partner work together to carry a battery on a long stand through a whole bunch of narrow alleyways to the finish line. I don't know, maybe I just like this one because I'm a huge math geek, but I don't know, finding the right angles to try to fit it through each pathway as quick as possible is just really satisfying. You and your partner really have to work together on it too. There's definitely a lot of chaos going on with this one, with trying to communicate with your partner where to go. Not to mention the controls in this one actually feel really good for what you're doing, which means that if you do get good at this game, you can get a really good time on it. A nice skill-based minigame that requires a lot of brain power. What more could you ask for? Okay, so I think it's safe to say that 1v3 minigames in Mario Party are severely looked down upon for them being very unbalanced. Whether it's the one or the team of three, most of the time there's a clear advantage. However, I think Ridiculous Relay for Mario Party 3 breaks that trend. And let me tell you, ridiculous is a great word to describe this minigame. The solo player competes in the race on a hang glider way up in the sky trying to make their way through a bunch of obstacles and bullets flying at them, while the three players back on Earth run the race in 3 different boats. The first one simply alternates between pressing A and B. The second one does this really weird pattern of up in A, down in A, up in B, down in B, which is actually pretty hard to get used to. And the third player just mashes the A button. I guess I really like this one because it really does feel like everyone is super involved. Every person really does have to maintain their role in order for their team to win. On paper, the single player in the hang glider definitely moves a lot quicker just naturally, but if the 3 players, especially the second one, can really master the button presses that they're supposed to do, they can fly through the course. And because of this, it really does feel like that this win could go either way. And also, come on, this really is the most ridiculous relay race anyone has ever seen. There's no questioning that. Crazy minigames like this just deserve love because of that, right? Another great duel minigame is T-5 from Mario Party 6. This is a game where you and your opponent have to ground pound 5 tiles in order to teleport your way to the finish. However, the catch is, you can only move forward if you ground pound the tile you're on when the light is over it. At first, the light moves pretty slow, and it's kind of boring. Then, as you make your way further down the line, the light starts to move faster, and it starts to get really intense. You really have to plan out when you're going to land the ground pound in order to hit the light at the right time. And on the last tile, it almost seems like you're ground pounding with a frame-perfect input in order to hit that light at just the right time. I've definitely been part of some games where one person got to the last light super quickly, but just couldn't close the deal, allowing the other person to catch up and steal the win from them. That's pretty epic. Again, it's pretty short, but when you've got a ton of coins or even a star on the line for this game, there's definitely going to be a lot of chaos going on here. Probably another game that looks pretty tame from the outside view, but when you actually play it, you learn that it is super, super fun. I don't know, maybe I just have a thing for 2v2 minigames, but next up I have Defuse or Lose from Mario Party 5. This is a really well-designed one in my opinion. There are 3 long wires with a spark traveling down each one heading towards King Babam. The goal is for you and your partner to ground pound each of the sparks to halt their progression towards the bomb, hoping that theirs blows up before yours does. Again, this is a minigame that will always be down to the wire. It gets very nerve-wracking when you lose control of one of the sparks and it starts flying towards the bomb. Also, I really love how there's only 2 of you, but there's 3 sparks to deal with, which means that one person can't stay on one spark the entire time. You have to move around and keep a system going with your partner in order to keep things organized. And sometimes your partner completely abandons the game plan that you have and lets a spark go. Like, Luigi, seriously, what are you doing, bro? All in all, this one is really skill-based. It takes a lot of teamwork and is super suspenseful all the way through. There's always going to be a really exciting few seconds with this minigame. I have to admit, I seriously debated whether or not I should put this one on the list. Maybe this minigame isn't too underrated when the public is talking about it, but you know what, even after all this time, it still blows my mind that Nintendo just chose to leave this out of the final Superstars collection. The minigame that I am talking about, the most underrated Mario Party minigame, is Stamp Out from Mario Party 4. Seriously, what's not to love about this one? 4 players each have their own colored stamp and have to use it to cover as much of the board as they can. However, you can also stamp over other people's stamps, taking that part of the board away from them. Therefore, this turns into a game of you cutting deals with your friends to make sure that they don't go into your corner of the board so you can have the most covered by the end. And also, don't just think that you can go after first place all the time, because it's not super easy to tell who's winning. It might look like that someone has a huge chunk of the board filled out, but there could be someone over in the corner just kind of doing their own thing, staying under the radar, and are able to take the win by the end. And trust me, these percentages will always be super close. This minigame has such a good idea, such good controls, and I really don't understand why more people don't talk about it. I think a lot of people would agree with me when I say, Nintendo, please bring back Stamp Out. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what minigames that I missed, and let me know if you guys like this new video concept. I'll do more of these if you want, and I'll see you guys in the next one.